an 84% increase, and your Social Security benefits. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. All right, a new report was released about Social Security that I feel like you should probably know about because there is a massive discrepancy out there and it is directly impacting millions upon millions of beneficiaries and your money and your benefit checks. Therefore, at the end of the day, as a fixed income beneficiary receiving Social Security, do you feel like that's a little bit important? Not sure about you, but I feel like that is massively important, and this is something you don't see out there all that often, but I want to bring it to you here in this video so you can see what is actually going on, especially over the last couple of decades here as it relates to your monthly benefit checks, and no wonder why so many seniors and fixed income beneficiaries are struggling at the pace that we are right now. There's some pretty shocking numbers here in this video, and what I want to share with you because, again, at the end of the day, this directly impacts your money, your benefits, and things like that going forward, and it makes me wonder a little bit, is this possibly intentional? Again, I don't want to make up some theory. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, stuff like that, but it seems a little bit suspicious out there. And again, I will reveal exactly what I'm watching and why I feel this way here in this video. So let's jump through the details. All right, now check this out. In the last 25 years, going back to the year of 2000, good old Y2K, remember that? That was kind of an interesting time, right? But anyway, going back to the year 2000, from then until now, Social Security benefits have increased by 84%, which you might think, wow, we're in the money right here, right? Yeah, that's pretty nice, an 84% increase to our Social Security benefits over the last 25 years. When you look at it that way, you feel like, yeah, I'm rolling in the dough now, right? This is awesome. This is great. Yeah, I'm living the high life here. 84%, baby. What are you going to do about that, right? You're right. It does sound pretty good until we look at the other numbers, which is how much have prices gone up on goods and services during that same time? Remember, before I tell you this number, remember, what is the COLA? Oh, by the way, this 84% increase is from the COLA. The COLA increases have increased benefits by 84% in the last 25 years. Not bad, right? Considering we pretty much hate the COLA because it's like worthless. It barely does anything to our benefits and it's always taken away every single year, right? It's this love-hate relationship. We love it, but then we kind of hate it at the same time, right? It's kind of how it works. But anyway, so yes, this 84% increase has come from the COLA over the last 25 years. But remember, what is the COLA supposed to do? It's supposed to keep parity, in other words, move simultaneously with price increases on goods and services, right? So as we see inflation moving up, technically the COLA is supposed to move in tandem with inflation, and they both just pace each other. But we all know better than that. You know as well as I do, as a fixed income beneficiary, nada. That doesn't happen. No. What a joke. Anybody trying to tell us that that's how that thing works? Not a chance, right? We know better than that. We're not that ignorant. We know much better. We're way smarter than that. We know how this whole thing goes, right? We're living it, and we know how this whole thing happens. Anyway, so get this. Okay. 25 years time, 84% increase because of the COLA to Social Security benefits. Again, 70 plus million beneficiaries, fill in the blank. You know all the beneficiaries I talk about, right? But get this, over that same amount of time, guess how much prices on goods and services have gone up? I'll tell you, over 140%. Man, that 84% isn't looking so good these days, right? I totally agree with you. So that's a discrepancy of well over 60% is what the discrepancy is of how much more benefits should be right now just based on these numbers right here. Again, benefits went up by 84% over the same time frame that prices on goods and services went up over 140%. In other words, is the COLA doing its job? I would say no. I would say the COLA is not doing its job whatsoever, right? It's doing not nearly a good job. This right here shows proof of just how bad the COLA really is and how much it stiffs beneficiaries. Now, here's the situation, right? By the way, I just want to throw this out there. If we look at this, the details, right? So we look at every single year. This is a 25-year period of time. So we have a lot of time here. It's a quarter of a century, right? It's a lot. It's 2.5 decades of time. It's a lot of years. But here's the problem. If the COLA falls behind, say, 1% here, 1 year, another 1.2% the next year, another 0.5% or half of a percentage point the next year. Maybe it falls behind real inflation by 1.7% the next year. And then a little bit later it goes, falls behind by another 0.3%. And then maybe 2.4% or whatever. You get my point here. On an annualized basis, it falls behind real price increases and real inflation by a little bit. It's not a ton, but just enough that we kind of don't notice, right? I mean, obviously we notice the difference. We know, we've been living it, especially the last couple of years here. Oh yeah, we know, right? But that's all that has to happen. It just needs to fall behind real price increases and real inflation a little bit every single year, and then spread that over the course of 25 years of time, and now you've got a massive problem like what we're dealing with right now. No wonder why Social Security beneficiaries, seniors, people with disabilities, are falling behind more and more every single year. So when you see the headlines out there, when you see people out there talking about, oh yeah, seniors are worse off today than they've ever been in history, look at the numbers. The numbers tell us the truth. The numbers tell us what's going on. Yeah, it's exactly what's happening, right? So no wonder why all of this is happening to, again, fixed income beneficiaries, right? So anyway, this is, like I said earlier at the beginning of the video, nobody talks about this. I guarantee you, I 100% guarantee you, your local news does not come out and tell you this information. Nobody really shares this information. Why? Because it's bad news. It's not like something that is like, oh, look at that. Hooray for Social Security. They stiffed all these seniors again. They don't want to talk about it. This is something that's kind of swept under the rug and be like, shh, don't tell anybody, right? Don't tell anybody that we're not keeping the coal up with real inflation. And that's the problem. Now, here's the thing. Since 1975, they've been using the CPIW, Consumer Price Index for urban wage earners and clerical workers, to calculate the COLA. Prior to that, lawmakers had a special session to determine the COLA. Could you imagine how bad that was? But anyway, so since 1975, so what is that, 50 years ago? Yeah, it's 50 years ago now. 50 years ago is when they changed this to the CPIW. Now, here's the thing. Yep, they're using the CPIW data for the third quarter of the year. But that doesn't give a real picture of what real inflation is doing. If they're only taking out 3 months of the entire year to determine the COLA and based off the previous year's third quarter data. Now, here's the thing as well. A lot of times, just being fair with you, we all recognize, and you know this as well as I do, every month when we get the inflation data that is released, usually around the middle of the month, it comes out, the CPI, the inflation data, stuff like that I talk about all the time. When this comes out once per month, every time we see the inflation data, there's always this big question mark. That seems a little fishy. That number seems a little off compared to what I've been seeing at my local stores on everything lately, right? So the big question is, are the inflation data points that we're actually receiving, are they even accurate in the first place, right? That's where it really comes down to. The inflation data that's being released, are those even accurate numbers reflecting real price increases on goods and services? I would probably say, honestly, I don't think so. I think they are not necessarily all that accurate. Well, then that's problem number one, is those reporting details are not even all that accurate. Now, point number and problem number two is that we're only taking a small sample size. We're taking 3 months of the entire year, the third quarter, July, August, and September, to determine what the COLA is going to be for the following year based on the CPIW, which we all know is maybe not even the best metric in the first place. And then we're comparing it over the previous year, third quarter, to determine, is there a difference in inflation? If so, then you get that as a COLA for the following year. So it's massively lagging information to determine what the COLA is going to be for the following year, right? So anyway, I've talked about this a little bit before in the other videos where the whole calculations for the COLA is like really bad. It's a really bad situation. There's many other ways that they could do this that would make it much better. Now, lastly, I'm going to throw this out there really fast here, and then I'm going to wrap this up, which is, does it seem a little bit suspicious that we've basically been stiffed by 60+% from 84% increase on benefits from the COLA, and price increases over that same amount of time is up 140+%? That's a 64, more than 64% discrepancy. Does that seem like a little bit fishy to you, right? I mean, if it was off by like 5%, I'd be like, yeah, it's just like, margin of error. I mean, that's just like with everything. There's always a margin of error for everything. But 64% plus? I don't know about that. That's like a massive margin of error, right? That's just neglectful, if you ask me. So anyway, it makes me wonder, did they see many years ago that, hey, we're going to have this insolvency problem sometime out in the future? If we just shave off a little bit of the COLA raise every year, call it 0.5%, call it 1%, call it 1.25, maybe 1.5, maybe a little bit. If we just reduce the COLA by this little bit every single year, beneficiaries won't notice, and then by the time we get out way into the future, this will prolong the insolvency issue at some point in the future. Again, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but it makes me wonder a little bit, is this maybe intentional over long periods of time, that this is just a secondary way of pushing out the insolvency issue a little bit over time, right? When you have a lot of time on your side, like they've had 25 years, you can really push this out. It manipulates a lot of numbers. I mean, that's billions and billions and billions of dollars of savings. Just imagine if they were to fill the gap here and come back and give all of us a 64+% increase to our benefit, how much would that cost them? I don't even know the number on that. Honestly, it would be a huge number. Like, oh man, it'd be massive. Probably like hundreds and hundreds of billions of dollars, if not like $1 trillion. It'd be incredible. It'd be a ton of money if they were to come back and just say everybody gets a 64% increase on benefits or more, and they were to come back and just do this. I mean, it would cost a ton of money initially, and then going forward, it would cost that much more plus the COLA on top of that. So it'd be a bad situation. It would make the insolvency issue happen very fast. Like, we'd be seeing insolvency like in a matter of a couple of years. I mean, it would not be out 8, 9, 10 years from now. It'd be out in like a couple of years, like very, very soon. So just, again, makes me wonder a little bit. All right, so anyway, let's leave it at that for now. Again, I'd love to hear your feedback on this down below in the comment section. Your questions, comments, concerns, stuff like that. Otherwise, please, if you're new here or if you haven't done so yet, please subscribe down below. Totally free to do so. Big subscribe button waiting for you down there. 100% free. Always has been and always will be. I love free. It's my favorite price. Also, do you know somebody that receives Social Security or fixed income benefits that may find this information to be valuable or interesting? Please do me a favor, share this video with them. There's a share button right down below. Share this out with those people that you can think of or your friends on my social media. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. Like the video, thumbs up button down below if you'd like to. You don't have to. I appreciate it if you do. Otherwise, check out the other well over 5,000 videos here on the channel in the video library. The popular videos I've hand selected for you down below in the description or the top of the comment section. And right now showing up on your screen as well, you'll see some videos there. Take your selection. Thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate you. Have a good one, and I'll catch you again later.